Hey, I'm Mr. Ferguson, and this is my lawn. What's up, YouTube? It's Mr. Ferguson here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Wednesday video. For a lot of you out there, you've already been overseeding and working on your lawn. Me, however, yet to do it here in Central North Carolina. We're going to be doing that in just a couple days. For me, I'm excited. We have had so much rain in the past couple days, as you saw in that little intro in the beginning. That we've had. It just got finished raining from today. We had 1.4 inches of rain yesterday, 0.75 inches today. We had rain the day prior. We have really gotten a lot of rain. The lawn you're looking at behind me right here, guys, is cut currently around 3 inches. It's what I cut it at last time. We will dethatch this thing so that when we seed it, we can make sure our seed hits the ground. So let me go get the stuff and let's get the job done. Well, guys, for the first time this entire growing season, I believe, I'm not able to do what I'd planned originally to do for this video because it's just too wet in my grass. And it works out good this way because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about something different. We probably titled the video different, so it doesn't make no difference to you. But we're going to let the sun dry up some of this rain today, tomorrow, and then Thursday, I'll be able to actually do the work of cutting and dethatching on the same time, which is the day before aerating. So it works out better that way. Let's talk about 2021-2022 lawn recap. What I've learned this year growing this lawn. And I quickly have jotted down a couple things I want to hit on and just do, and we may revisit this topic again if I think of other things. Oh yeah, that's a good thing. That's a huge thing I left out to learn. But I want to go through at this time of the year when we're about to plant a totally new yard. Well, normally that's the case, not so much this year. We'll get to that point. That we review what did we learn from this time to from a year ago today when we were planting this new lawn that we now see made it through summer, which is our last point. What did we learn? So to begin, I'll start off with, we made a video on this, the color difference, and we've talked about that here on the channel. Back here where we've got Jonathan Green. Number one, actually, before we even go to color difference, let's go to, we were losing grass back here, guys, on the back side of my lawn. Right here where you see all these shadows, the shadows have already begun to recede and go backwards because the leaves are going to be falling, but the earth is rotating, and we're about to go to where some of this is not in the shadow anymore. It's going to be exposed direct sunlight. So we were losing in the summer months a lot of grass back here, and so I said, hey, let's do a test. Let me put some dense shade because the shade's not here currently while we're planting. It is a little bit still, but let's put some shade mix back here, and hopefully it'll make it all the way to next spring when the leaves begin to come back on the tree, and let's see what happens. I think that was highly successful. We lost about 50%. That's wrong to say. We lost about a quarter of the dense shade mix because it's really thin. It doesn't look like it. I may have to throw in some clips right here of me showing what it looks like currently at the time of seeding, but it got really thin during the summer months, which is not rare. That's normal. So I think it helped to have a shade mix back there instead of just the GCI because the GCI withered away. Now we're going to talk about it more, so maybe it wasn't the mix of seed, maybe it was the user, Mr. Ferguson, so we'll talk about that in a different topic. But now that we've talked about that, the color difference we showed later on in the year, Jonathan Green is definitely a deeper, darker green than the Spreader Elite from GCI Turf, and we document that in a very popular video on my channel. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. You probably already have, but there is a color difference. So I learned, one of the things I learned, which we're going to actually implement this lesson in the front yard when we seed on Friday, is I'm not just going to do Jonathan Green on the bank only. I'm going to mix that with the triple threat, which ruins my opportunity because, you know, we want to review triple threat. What's it look like? What do these call, you know, is that triple threat or is that solar green? Well, if you mix it, Mr. Ferguson, you're not going to know. Well, we've got so much grass in the front yard left from last year, it's not a fair review. I think doing a reno and doing straight triple threat would be a better review. So I'm not going to be able to do that review anyway, but I'm going to mix the Jonathan Green that has a little bit of Kentucky, Texas bluegrass in it with the triple threat, North Carolina cultivars, best tested here, and we're going to put that in the front because I don't want that like dark green in the back, light green in the sunlight. So that's one thing there. Moving a little bit faster, we had in the winter and the fall and in the early spring, we had about the normal amount of Poa annua. There was no change. We did not use pre-emergent. I've never been able to use pre-emergent in the fall. This will be the first year I've ever been able to do that, so I'm excited to be able to do it, and hopefully we can stop Poa. But we've had that video this past Monday that talked about that. We are late on that, so go check out that video. It's got the weird, I did emojis, you know, die, thigh, op here. If you didn't get it, that's what that was about. A die, crossbones, the thigh of a chicken, and up here, like, so that's what that was about. If you didn't get it, it was, you know, anyways, you get it. So anyways, we're going to do pre-emergent, hopefully stop Poa annua this year, but we are running late on throwing that down. We will not be late next year if we can keep the grass. That is going to be the goal each and every year here in North Carolina. We were mowing in January. If you guys recall, those that have been around this channel, we've had a lot of new subscribers, but if you've been around the channel, I'm mowing here in January a lot of times. We were this past year. We was probably in the 50s, maybe the high 40s, but I was out here having to mow my grass in January. And I made a video on it. I used my drone to show what it looked like. It looks awesome when you're mowing in these cooler months. That's probably, you know, your fall or late fall weather up north for you guys up in Michigan and up in New York and other areas, Pennsylvania. But I'm out here mowing all the way into January, so I don't expect that to change this year. My fall lasts a long time. Sometimes it just keeps growing all the way into spring, and it just keeps going because we never get cold enough to really go dormant. I like the cool blue better. I've kind of already hit on this in the triple threat video, but after having GCI turf type tall fescue, yes, it looks great. Yes, it looks cool. It looks awesome. It's healthy. It's green. I don't mind the color, but man, there's something about that cool blue with that Kentucky bluegrass in it. When you stripe it, it looks better. It just looks better. I just like it better. I can't sustain it because I'm not a well water guy. I'm a city water guy, and it takes way too, I spent way too much. You guys don't even understand, Miss Ferguson does, how much I spent in water to keep this grass alive. I invested in it. And so $400 water bill, I'll tell you that much. So I had a $400 water bill to keep this grass alive. That's why I say join the channel, subscribe, like use the super thanks. We could use some of that support for the channel there. But I like the cool blue lawn that I had. Man, I really want to try it again, and just kind of plan on, hey, when it gets hot, some of that bluegrass may die off. That's fine. But let's keep going because we don't want to make this video an eternity long. The striping kit, man, it feels like I have not striped my lawn in a year. I took the striper off, I think, in the beginning of May. My idea around that was I didn't want to put any additional stress on my grass going into summer to stress it out, to cause it, you know, pulling at it. I know when we roll it, some people say you're adding compaction, and I don't care about that. I didn't want to run that thing causing additional stress on my grass and cause it to even easily become under stress. And so to reduce that, I took it off way early. I don't think I would do that so early this coming year. Matter of fact, I can't wait to stripe my grass and get those lines back in it. There's nothing like it. Ever since I did it, I've been hooked on it. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I love it. It gets the neighbor's eye. It's beautiful. And so took it off a little too soon, won't do that. Let me talk about Bifen. This was the first year I used Bifen. I put that in my lawn. We had no signs of ants at all. We've had an ant problem in this lawn prior to me getting into lawn care. We had a lot of ant mounds over here. We had a lot of ant mounds in the front yard. No signs of ants. I went down to Wilmington, made a video there about my brother, and he's got a dog that was getting ate up with ants in his lawn. I sprayed Bifen in his lawn, no problem, for about 3 months, and then they begin to come back after the Bifen began to wear off. So that was a very successful use of the product Bifen. So if you've not heard about it, insecticide, if you have an ant problem, your animal's getting eat up with bugs, Bifen is something I highly recommend spraying in your lawn. Fungicide. This was the first year I used azoxystrobin and propiconazole. We did, I think, 3 or 4 applications of it. I had no fungus this year, none whatsoever that I know of. We might have tried to have a little bit of brown patch on the side. We hit it with some propiconazole. or actually, I'm sorry, we did another spray of Azoxy and propiconazole, did another spray as just a regular routine spray. But I had no fungicide, no outbreak of fungus. We were fungus free. So azoxystrobin, and I read at NC State, one of those turf files I read from NC State, azoxystrobin, propiconazole combined together, and the lawn does really well here in North Carolina. That was super successful. I will be doing that, if at all possible, again this year. Let's talk about the K levels. The second year I had the GCI lawn, I was like, I'm going to hit my potassium. The GCI turf guys were, or excuse me, the grass factor guys were correct. I don't think potassium is such a big deal. It was water this year, and that's combining two of the notes of why do I have a lawn today for the first time in 3 years. Mr. Ferguson, how did you sustain a North Carolina summer? Lots of water, $400 water bill. My wife is not happy. I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do that next year. I can't afford to pump city water into this lawn all the time. But water got me through. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I was using too little water in the summer months. And we had a cool down also in August into the 70 degrees for about a week and a half. That really helped to push me over the edge to make it here in September with a very full lawn, even in the front yard. The only reason I have a little bit of missing grass in the front yard is we used Fusillade that was a little, man, this crow, would you go away? Shut up. Stinking bird. But the only reason we have spots in our front yard is because I sprayed some glyphosate on some weeds. We put some glyphosate on some weeds in the front yard, and we got Fusillade on the bank that's just now recovering. So if we hadn't have done that, there would be I don't think I even need to overseed, but we're going to do it anyways because I want to put some triple thread in. I want to darken it up with the solar green, so we want to make it thick because we're not going to do pre-emergent in the front yard, and we want to thicken it up, so we try to stop POA annua there versus using pre-emergent in the side in the backyard. So it'll be an interesting thing to watch throughout this winter. And that's pretty much it. Our K levels, we talked about that. And the biggest thing out of all of that is I finally did it. Me, through advice, through learning, through pumping in the water, a $400 water bill, we made it all the way through a North Carolina summer with a cool season turf in 90-degree heat, sustained, lack of rain. It was another very dry June, July, and August period. And just here recently, we have been hit with water to the point I can't even dethatch and cut today because it's so wet in my lawn. Thank you, God. And so hopefully we don't have an outbreak of fungus now that we've talked about this today. But those are some of the things that just come to mind on the videos I've made, that we've talked about, that we've done here on the past year on the channel. That's what I do. I document my lawn. I show you guys what I'm doing. We also, another thing, we very little biostimulants in the lawn this past season, and it looks great. Did it make a difference in our soil? You know, biostimulants is a soil thing. We can't see it on the outside. Did it make a huge difference? Visually, no. But what about our dirt? How was our dirt impacted? Not having that humic acid, not having RGS all the time, microgreen, those things. So that'll be something to see. We may use more of those humic acid and stuff coming up in the next season. So I hope this has been interesting to you. Again, if you are interested in the memberships, check it out. See if it interests you. I appreciate anybody that wants to support the channel. Subscribe if you're not. That is my recap of the year. I'm so excited to sow new seed, to try pre-emergent, make videos on, we have zero POA, we have a little bit of POA, and hopefully, yeah, on Friday it's the big day. I'm getting ready. I'm lining up the trailer to go to get the aerator, the zero turn, and all this stuff. So I'm excited, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Hopefully the next video you see will be the mow. We're going to cut this bad boy down to under 3 inches, and we're going to be pulling up some of the dead grass, raking it up, getting it thin so we have good seed to soil contact in the front yard, and making sure that we don't waste our seed. So God bless you. We'll see you on that next video then. God bless.